Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Dan Caparello here with John Cummins, and today we'll be chatting about Star Tropics and the Shadows of the Empire and Starcraft and Bomberman 64 and Harvest Moon and just Megaman and a bunch of just a lot of stuff. I don't even know why I bother listing it off because, there's just always a ton. And I don't even know what we're going to get into at this point in the show, so why bother? I'll tell you at the end of the show what we talked about, and then you can rewind and listen to the show. That doesn't make any sense anyway. RetroLogic is the official podcast of Block Fort Retro, the place to shop online for high-quality, clean, authentic retro games. Visit us at blockfortretro.com. John, let me let you talk for a second. How are you? How's it going, man?
Oh, not too bad. I've been having a lot of fun digging through some of my old Nintendo Power magazines. I picked up a few at a thrift store a little while ago, and I've got a little checklist that I keep on my phone, and I check them off as I get them. And so it seems like every time I buy a couple, I go back and I look through a bunch in the bin that I put them in. So that's always a fun one. There's
still on the hunt for that.
Things.
Still on the hunt for that issue 1.
Yeah,
issue
I don't have an issue
I saw
1.
one go up. I saw one go up with the poster in it. It was a little rough looking, but it had the poster. It went up for $80, and I was considering it, and I don't know if it's still up or not, but whew.
Yeah, I'd say here soon that one's going to be a Benjamin for sure to get a decent one.
Easy. Well, it is freezing cold here in my garage. Did you have a good Thanksgiving week? How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was fantastic. Went and visited my parents and my in-laws. Kept it to a pretty tight circle. Didn't really see any of my extended family or anything. Just had dinner with those two groups, and then we came back home. But it was
easy
a good time.
Peasy.
Yeah,
we stayed home. I mean, we didn't do much, We stayed home.
That's not bad either.
Yeah, just with the kids and had our own little thing going on. Current price for issue 1 is $128.
That's kind of what I figured.
Wow. Anyway, just wanted to get that price out there because I have it on the brain now. Maybe I should pick up that issue. Anywho, what, John, did you buy this week on Black Friday week?
So, this week I bought Doom Eternal for the PS4, Resident Evil 2 also PS4, and Kingdom Hearts All-in-One for the PS4. All 3 PS4 games. I was trying to think. I also picked up for the retro side because I finally got a hold of the Rob the Robot that I told you guys a few episodes ago. I can't remember which episode it was.
Yes. I saw your picture in Discord.
Yeah, I actually got it in my hands, and so I went and I looked for a copy of Gyromite because I did not have one. And I kind of got curious and looked at Stack Up, but that's probably going to be an investment to get a hold of a copy of that if I ever want it.
Yeah.
That thing's, it's outrageous. I only seen a couple going online that were complete, and they're upwards of $1,000 right now, so probably hold off on that one.
Just the cartridge is $100.
Oh yeah,
just the cartridge.
And it's usually really bad shape.
Yeah. Crazy.
But one of the things I know we've also been talking, somehow it always seems to come up, but Kingdom Hearts, I've never played any of these games, and the all-in-one package went down to $20, I think it was.
Oh, good.
Has all of them, so if I ever want to jump in, I figure I'll buy this package, and it'll be the best way to do that versus picking up the 17 individual games, on 12 different systems throughout the period of time. So
sometimes going retro with that stuff is just more of a hassle than it's worth. It's like,
I like retro, but to me, even as a collector, I'm more about playability. I want the best place to play it. So I might go back if I do enjoy some of these games and I and have a urge to collect some of the older versions of them. Probably won't play them, or have a long ways off if I do play them, but sometimes it's nice to just add those physical ones to your collection over time, and they're all fairly cheap, as we found out.
Yeah, they really are. It's pretty crazy.
But they're not $20 cheap to buy them all together.
No, and that way it's just better to play them, right? I mean, you don't have to have 5 different systems to play whatever you want. So
I really wish that collection had come to the Switch, because I have a feeling those games are probably better played handheld. Because I'm baffled they didn't.
It's weird.
I mean, I could see the third game being an issue, but especially the older ones. I don't know why other than the fact that they're a Sony property, right? Or do they have those on the...
I guess it's Square. So,
well,
whatever.
I know, but it's kind of like... even Final Fantasy VII Remaster is timed exclusive for PlayStation. I don't know if Kingdom Hearts is on Xbox.
No, but Kingdom Hearts is on Game Boy Advance and DS, so...
Yeah, that's true. But that was also
they certainly have worked with... They have worked with Nintendo before.
Yeah.
They're releasing all kinds of Final Fantasies on the Switch right now. I think that Sony is had some kind of exclusivity deal with them. They had to have. Because there's no reason for Square to not bring them to the Switch.
Yeah, maybe it's the Disney side of things. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I blame Sony.
Yeah, I couldn't see Disney not wanting to make a deal that made them money. I don't see anything holding them up from that. But
they don't care.
So those are the things that I picked up. I have been eyeballing a few other things, but I haven't got them yet. And as far as what I've been playing is not so retro. I've been playing the new Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It's kind of sucked me in like a vacuum. It's one of those where the game is not like mind-blowing. Like, I like the Breath of the Wild aspects of it, and the story is decent. Like, it's not really groundbreaking stuff. There's not a whole lot of story in between everything, but just the way they've fleshed out the world, and just the gameplay loop seems a little bit better than the original Hyrule Warriors. Like, I'm more up for just doing one more, where the old Hyrule Warriors, it seems like I did a mission and then I had to put it down for a while and come back to it.
Right.
So I can't really explain it, but I'm definitely having a lot more fun with this one.
I've been playing it a lot too. And I think that part of the reason why it's more fun to me is that the characters seem to be a lot more different to play, like they're like, oh my gosh, what is that one character's name? The girl who multiplies herself, whatever. Impa, that's the one. Okay. Impa multiplies herself, and then Rivali can fly, and Link just deals tons of damage.
Rivali is overpowered.
He's great, right? Yeah, he's crazy. And then Verbosa does the whole like charge up lightning thing. Like, they all have their own pretty unique powers, and it's not so button mashy, like you have to use those powers to to take care of stuff, or you'll get overwhelmed really fast.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's definitely one of those where I could see it as I start getting further in. Probably start separating myself from it a little bit and do like bits and pieces versus just sitting and doing a whole bunch of it at one time, which will give me some more time to hop into some other things, retro wise.
Yeah, it's definitely like a long play. Like, I'm going to play a few rounds and then put it away and play something else. So
yeah, I have no idea how long it is, but it's got to be pretty long.
I think 20 hours is what I saw. I don't know how accurate that is on how long to beat. But anyway, so this week I didn't really do anything retro for myself. I got a couple things for the store, and there will be information about all of that coming up if you follow me on Twitter at BlockfortRetro. But what I bought for myself, I picked up a bunch of stuff on Stadia because they had a crazy Black Friday sale. I got Doom Eternal, Borderlands 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Jedi Fallen Order, and I spent like less than $60 with like promos and Black Friday deals and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll be playing some Stadia this December for sure.
That's what it sounds like.
And so with that, I started playing Doom Eternal last week for the first time. I was holding out, man. I was holding out so hard for the Switch version that got delayed. And then when I heard that it was going to be digital only, I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm hard out on that one.
Well, you might as well play it on Stadia at that point.
Well, because, yeah, I spent $15 on it to play it on Stadia. I don't need any more hardware. I just plug it up and play it. And it works great. And it looks amazing.
And it didn't cost you $60.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it's a digital version, but I would rather pay $15 for the digital version
yeah.
than $60. So, because I'd pay $60 for the physical cartridge. I would.
Yeah, I still am confused on the limitations there. I don't know.
Probably cartridge size.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think they just don't want to pay for the larger cartridge, or do you think it's beyond a cartridge?
I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with like Microsoft's purchase of Bethesda, and so they kind of call the shots now, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to spend the money on cartridges. It's going to sell okay. Might as well just do digital. We already spent the money to port it over. So that's what I think. But I mean, I'm over it now. I own it, and I love the first one, and I'm loving this one, and there's really not much else to say about it. It's incredible.
Well, I kind of like the way that they handled it, and that they decided to go one way or the other. Because I think being all digital is better than doing 5 gigs of it on a card and then saying you have to download the rest. Because really at that point you're just buying a box. You know, that cartridge gets you nothing. 10 years down the road when they shut the eShop down, or 15 years down the road, you pop Doom Eternal in and you can't even play it off the cart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd have to have the file. Yeah,
you'd have to have the file already. That burns me almost more than, you know, it's like, if you're going to do that, just go ahead and make it a digital only at that point, and don't waste my time.
That's a real concern. That's a real concern for modern games in general, even like PS3, Xbox 360 games, because there were downloadable updates for those games that you can no longer access, or will no longer be able to access pretty soon. And so it's like, well, yeah, I have the disc for this game, but you know, how am I gonna play like the best version of it? You know, what about DLC and stuff like that? So,
well, in PS3, Xbox 360 era, did they have the full game on the disc still at that time, and you just had to download extra? Because I know PS4, like, I have a lot of physical games that whenever they decide to quit doing the PlayStation Store or quit supporting the PS4, those games are stuck because they only have like 10% of the game on the disc, and you're required to
That's
download
insane
the rest.
To me.
Yeah, I mean, they still do
That's
it.
That's crazy.
But you still, at the time, it's a better deal because physical PlayStation games will go down so much in price. Like, I bought Doom Eternal for $20. Mm-hmm. So if I play that now and I don't plan on going back to it, I'd still rather pay the $20 and get the physical disc versus paying $60 for it digitally, because digital games don't really go on sale that often as far as like big stuff.
Yeah, they do and they don't. It's just, yeah.
It doesn't seem like they get down to the price of a physical copy does, though, on a disc.
No, and there's a lot of advantages to the physical disc. You let someone borrow it, for starters.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just think that it's a real bummer. You know, 20 years, most of these games will be unplayable.
And that's the direction that we're heading in.
Yeah, it's really sad.
I know the Switch is on a good route to where they don't have as much of that, but there's still quite a bit of it.
Just get everything on PC and triple back up all your hard drives with all your data on it. That's the only way to preserve it. If you have a console, you're screwed.
Or you need to own like 4 SD cards and hope that they all still work in 20 years.
Oh, no, don't do SD cards. Flash memory degrades You got to get you got to do hard drives. You got to do
Well, I mean,
so that was a tangent I didn't expect to go off of, but here we are.
I wanted to throw one more thing in because I forgot, and it's not a game, but I bought the Legend of Zelda hand-drawn game guide. I talked about it earlier on the show. I finally bought it. I finally got a hold of a physical one. I missed the last two lots that he had out. He only had I think 50 of them physically, and I would just barely miss it. They'd sell out right before I get there. Well, this last one, I don't know how many he started off with, but
I think he had 500.
250. Yeah, I was going to say, he still had 250 when I purchased, and I just want to throw this out there that there's still, as of this recording, there's still 77 copies left on the website. So if that's something you guys are interested as listeners in purchasing, just go to Gumroad at Hand Drawn Game Guides and pick one of those up. They're just awesome. Like, the artwork is amazing.
They're beautiful.
It looks exactly like something you would see in the game, from the original time period.
They're beautiful, and they're useful. You can use it to go through the game. Yeah. I got all 3 of his guides digitally when the first round of Zelda went up, and I missed it.
I did too.
So I got all 3 of them digitally, and they're just fun to look at. They're so cool. So definitely go support him for sure. So with that, let's jump into some The Price is Retro. All right, so it's just John and I today. We're going to see. I threw a little curveball in here for you.
I think you'll have some fun with mine too.
All right, well, good. See, we can have hard mode between the two of us. We probably shouldn't subject another third party to hard mode for a while.
We don't want
Mine's not
to break
even
Nick's record.
Right? No, never. All right, so why don't you go first this time, John?
All right. So my first game on my list is Kid
Hold
Icarus.
on. Sorry. Let's before we do that, let's just go over what Price is Retro is for our first-time listeners. Price is Retro is a game that we play where we throw out a list of games. John's going to throw out a list of games, and I'm going to have to guess what that lot of games is worth. And then I'm going to do the same thing. And then we are going to see how close we were to the actual amount. John has a running tally of our amounts and who's winning and who's losing. And we just kind of keep track of it. And you can play along at home and see how close you got. And you can follow me on Twitter and let me know how close you got. Or you can shout me out in Discord too. So, okay, sorry. Just wanted to get that out there. Go ahead, John.
No, good call. So my first game is Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters on the Game Boy. Complete on the Game Boy. Right. Second game is Jet Moto on the PlayStation. Complete. The third game is Bomberman 64, the second attack.
And
64
you freaking jerk. Okay, loose. All right.
The fourth game is Gex on the 3DO. Loose.
Wow, I hate you right now. The 3DO. Loose on the 3DO? Well, like
Loose on
75
the 3DO.
cents? Man, that could go either way. No, it can't. I'm gonna go. Okay. All right. So my price is $255 for that lot.
All right. Hold on a second. 255. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the total value of my lot was $274.
Oh my gosh, I was so close.
You were very close.
Dude.
You probably are ended up taking me on this one just by how close you got on that.
That's
Unless
crazy.
I just pull some magic out.
That Bomberman's second attack, dude. I can't believe you pulled that out. That game's ridiculous. Okay.
It is.
Here's my list. Tetris Plus on the Sega Saturn, complete. Tetris DS, complete. Magical Tetris Challenge on the N64, cartridge only. And 3D Tetris for the Virtual Boy, cartridge only.
Oh, jeez. Was 3D Tetris the Japanese only, or was that American? On the Virtual Boy.
Well, let me... I don't...
Sorry to throw that.
That's okay. That's okay. This has a North American ESRB on it. This picture, so it looks like
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. So let's see, first one. Go through them one more time. Sorry.
All right, that's all good.
Some tricky.
Use your fingers. Yeah. All right. Tetris Plus for Sega Saturn, complete. Tetris DS, complete. Magical Tetris Challenge for the N64, cartridge only. And 3D Tetris for Virtual Boy, cartridge only.
I'm going to say $200 even.
Oh my gosh, you're really close. It's $171.
All right, hold on one second.
You got really close.
I don't think I got as close as you did, but you said it's 170 what?
171.
171. You beat me by $10.
Man.
So I was $29 off from your guess, and you were $19 off from my guess. So congratulations, you won another round. But we're
2 weeks in a row.
A lot closer than I kind of figured we would get with some of these.
Yeah, throwing some curveballs in there.
So I'm going to fill in our win log, and you can go ahead and go through your list and kind of tell me some prices.
Okay, cool. So Tetris Plus for the Sega Saturn complete goes for around $30. Tetris DS complete goes for only $18, which I thought was pretty low. I remember that game being pretty high even recently. So, I mean, that game was awesome. Probably my favorite Tetris game to date. And all the like Nintendo modes. It had like Metroid mode and Mario mode and stuff, and they were all different ways of playing. Loved it. Good party game too. Magical Tetris Challenge for the N64, which is the Disney-themed Tetris game, is $18 also. It's about right.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3D Tetris for Virtual Boy, cartridge only, goes for $105.
Okay, yeah. So the Sega Saturn game I kind of overpriced because Saturn games are kind of touchy.
Yeah.
And I knew that Virtual Boy one was going to be high, but I undershot it slightly. So I think that's where I went wrong.
You evened out a little bit
there. The N64 one wasn't. Huh?
You evened out a little bit there.
Yeah, that's what did pretty good. Okay, so my list, Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters on the Game Boy complete was $43.
Nice. I guess 40.
Yeah, Jet Moto for the PlayStation complete was $9.
Yeah, I went low on that one too.
Bomberman 64, the second attack for the N64 loose is $204.
Wow.
Which is just crazy.
Yep.
I think that game just didn't have very much circulation. I think it was a very low volume game.
It was very late, very low volume, just kind of like one run, like Gotcha Force. Just, yeah.
Yep. And then the last game, Gex for the 3DO loose is still worth $18 loose.
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. That's where I went wrong. I put like $5 for that because I was like 3DO. Nobody wants that crap. Yeah.
I thought I'd throw a curveball in there and see if you'd buy it.
I would have been even closer if I had guessed right, because I was really close on the other ones with my guesses.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, good job, man.
Someone's got to I got 2 weeks in a row. Somebody's got to take me down. Maybe next week Marty will show us what's up. He'll beat me.
Yeah, we'll see. It ought to be a good match. But all right, that's the price of retro.
Sweet. Good game, you guys. By you guys, I mean me and you and everybody listening. All us guys. Even the girls who use guys. So, the next thing on our episode list, we are going to jump into crossplay. We're going to do 2 things here this week for crossplay. We're going to finish up our Star Tropics, Shadows of the Empire thoughts, and neither of us beat those games.
No, far from it.
Yeah. But we can still get some impressions and kind of our final thoughts and get those done. So, John, why don't you go first? You can finish off with your final thoughts on Shadows of the Empire, and then I'll jump in there with Star Tropics.
So, if anyone's interested, I recorded, I streamed 3 sessions of Star Wars Shadows of the Empires, and those videos can be found on Discord if anybody wants to go back and watch and kind of get my live impression of how I felt while I was playing. But overall, I feel the game has not aged well graphically, and as much as in the last couple of episodes I said that I felt the controls weren't too bad, I had not gotten a hold of a jetpack yet. And I really struggled in the areas with the jetpack. And then also I got to a point where I had to fight a ATST on the ground with just my regular gun, and that really kind of ate a lot of time trying to figure out how to kill that thing. The aiming, there's no reticle, so you just kind of have to guess where you're shooting at, and if you shoot at the ATST's feet, you get like no damage. So I spent 5 or 10 minutes just shooting at the legs, because that's where it shoots at if you don't aim at all. And I ended up having to hide behind a corner because I didn't have any missiles or anything left, and just kind of very slowly aim up using the aiming method that they allow you to use, and shoot it in the head to get damage on it. And that took quite a while and lots of lives. And I burned almost I think I did another 45-minute stream, and that was more than half of it was just trying to take that thing out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I made it to a point shortly after that, and I didn't make it, and I used up all my lives, and I would have had to go all the way back through the first part of that level again. So I just kind of cut the stream at that point. I didn't figure anybody wanted to watch me have to trail all the way back through a level to get to that same point where I was at. So, and I meant to kind of get back into it and pick it up from there and try to play on my own without the stream, to try to save some people's eyes from having to rewatch that. And I just couldn't find the time between the holiday break and just work kind of heavy right before that. And so my overall grade for Star Wars is probably a C. I felt like it had good story beats to it that probably would tie into Star Wars if I knew more about Star Wars. And I really enjoyed the ship flying in battles. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the highlight of the game. The third-person shooter part of it was really underwhelming. I think my favorite part of the game is whenever you shoot one of the stormtroopers and they fall off of a ledge and they make this ah! They're falling down, the sound clip of that. It's exactly the same every time. That was great. And there's some turrets in the first level where you're in third person. And for whatever reason, the developers added the sound clip of the stormtroopers getting shot to those turrets. So you're shooting the turrets and they're like, and it's it's a turret. It shouldn't be making any sounds. But yeah, I found some funny things in the game. But overall, it was a pleasant experience. I don't know if I'll ever go back to finish it, but I had fun with what I played.
I have such fond memories of that game, fonder than I'm sure the game deserves, because, when you're a kid, you just play what you have, right? So we just played Shadows of the Empire, And we got pretty far. My brother and I got pretty far in it. I don't know how. We just like kept beating our head against the wall till we beat it. But like, yeah, some of those sections are so like, did you get to the speeder bike section?
Nope.
Okay. There's like a speeder bike race at one point, which is like one of the funnest levels, but you have to get through so much trash to get there. You know, it's just like ridiculous.
Based on the, I tried to figure out about where I was in the game. I think I was almost halfway through it. The level I was stuck on is the level that leads you up to the Boba Fett fight. And I think that's the halfway point of the game. So I made it halfway through. That's not too bad for about 3.5 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, it's a pretty short game if you burn right through it. But of course, nobody does that because it's impossible.
Yeah, for
cool.
sure.
Well, so Star Tropics.
Tell me a little bit about. Yeah, there we go. Let's hear about this thing.
You know what? As far as NES RPGs go, I mean it's really good. I mean, you know, the overworld stuff is easy to traverse and fun, and it looks good. And then the dungeon stuff is pretty good, a little unfair, and there's some weird stuff that just like you can't fire any weapons diagonally at all. You are stuck to the 4 cardinal directions, and a lot of enemies come at you diagonally, like stupid ones, you know, and like like the bats do that, and there's another like weird skull dog that does that, and it just really, really felt unfair. Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, at least make them stick to the 4 cardinal directions if I have to, because it just feels, you know, it just feels unfair combat wise.
There's not a whole lot of NES games at that time that would let you fire diagonally. So
no, and you don't have to. You don't have to, but
it'd be nice.
Just then don't let the enemies come at you diagonally if you can't attack them in that direction. It just, you know. So the place where I got stuck and finally stopped playing was after I was stuck in this one dungeon with this boss. It's like a gloopy fire boss. And you had to like break these pots next to him, and then he was like firing tons of stuff at you, so it was kind of hard to get around. I used the rewind function a lot in that portion. I beat him, and I got through the cave, and I got to this town, and this old lady was like, I don't remember all of it, but she was like, oh, there's something, you need to go to the graveyard, to the bottom of the lake in the graveyard to retrieve this thing. I'm like, okay, cool. So I keep going on the path, get to the graveyard. I go to the dungeon in the graveyard. I finish the dungeon in the graveyard, and I didn't collect the thing that she sent me to collect. So I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? Like, what do I need to do? And when I say that in a video game, there's a good chance that I'm about to give up. I'm just like, all right, this game better hold my hand real quick, or I'm about to throw it. You know what I mean? I'm about to not pick it back up.
I don't want to go back through that dungeon again.
But I feel like I got a pretty good, good view of what this game is. It was really exciting when you got alternative weapons. Like you got like the sling, and you got the bat, and there were other things you could get that really helped you out. And it was pretty liberal with like the life and the health, so you could probably do pretty well and get through it if you already knew what was coming up and knew how to fight stuff. Because part of the reason I died so much was because I didn't know how to fight anything. I didn't know what they were going to do or how many hits it took. So it was just like, all right, let's throw myself at this boss or this enemy and see what happens.
Yep, NES days, man.
Yeah, exactly. So probably why I stick to the NES games that I already know. It's, you know.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at it through the lens of like, okay, there were a lot of very obtuse and hard to get through NES games, and this one's on the easier side of that spectrum. So I would give it a fairly high mark under that lens. It's just that, like, compared to a lot of other NES games, it was really, really good. So I'd probably go like a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10 on that one.
It was a later NES game, so that helped it.
Mm-hmm.
It learned a lot of things from other games.
Yeah, definitely. There was even a sequel, right? Zoda's Revenge or something like that.
Yeah.
So I might try to pop that one in on the somewhere if it's somewhere. I think it's on the NSO.
I don't think the sequel is.
It's not.
I think it's a little bit harder to get hold of physically.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. I thought I saw it somewhere, but I'll have to check. Anyway, that's that. And we've got our work cut out for us this next month on Crossplay, John, because it is Mega Man month. Megamandum.
Yes.
Megamandemonium. Yes, it is gonna be fun. I have not I think I beat Mega Man X ever. Haven't beat a single other one. Don't know if I'm going to beat one this time around either, but we're just going to try.
I'm in the same boat. That's kind of why I wanted to do a Mega Man related crossplay for the month of December to go along with the anniversary of Mega Man, but also just because after talking with you, neither one of us have a whole lot of experience with Mega Man, and it ought to be fun to roll through some of these games, at least as far as we can get through them.
For sure. And we did a community question from our Discord. We asked all of our Discord members to give us an answer to the question, what is your first Mega Man game that you ever played? And what is your favorite Mega Man game? So we had those two questions, and we got quite a few responses. So I'm going to go through some of those right now. The first one is from Adrock, who was our guest last week. Is my brother, Adam. He is super cool, and his answer was, my first was the original Mega Man on NES at my friend's house on his massive projection TV. My favorite is probably Mega Man 2, but it's close. Yeah, Mega Man 2 seems to be the hailed as the gold standard on Mega Man games as far as I've heard.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Chad from our Discord. Says first Mega Man was 4 on the NES, back when you could rent games from the store. Favorite game is the first Mega Man X. I'm gonna agree with Chad on this one, because Mega Man X, probably my favorite, probably the one I've spent the most time on, and just kind of the most playable in my opinion. We've got Third Strongest Mole, who says Mega Man X is his answer to both first and favorite. He also really likes the Battle Network games 1 through 3. And he says those got him into the series as a whole. Those were like the little Pokemon style RPG games.
Yeah.
I think I played.
I was going to say I missed those ones, but played a few of the classic Mega Man. Second game was probably the first one I played, but I think I enjoy X more.
Yeah, I played a bit of the Battle Network stuff and liked it. Just didn't really stick with it as a series. Togo Bap, who won last week's NES Game and Watch, or sorry, not NES Watch. He won the Nintendo Game and Watch giveaway. Congrats again. He says Mega Man on the NES was his first one. Rented a few times and he liked it.
Nice.
Old Tim, Neoprime 33 says, I've tried Mega Man a few times throughout my life, but never sat down, truly tried to complete one. Well, hopefully we're going to change that for you there, Tim. So the way we're going to run this crossplay, which was all John's brainchild, and I love it, is we're going to roll the dice 1 through 6. And now, John, are we you and I going to play the same Mega Man game?
Yeah,
we're going to roll the dice once.
I think we're going to roll the dice and whatever number, and I have a random number generator ready. We'll roll the dice, see what it rolls, and we'll all play the same game. That way we can all talk about it. We'd love to hear everyone's thoughts in Discord, and you can hit Dan up on Twitter and let him know there. Just basically anywhere where you find us, and if you have any questions about the game or want to send anything through our email, you can do that as well.
you have any questions about the game, you can talk to Third Strongest Mole or Marty Estes. I'm not going to be able to answer any questions for you.
Well, that's where we would forward the questions to. I hadn't got to that part yet.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there you go.
So, are you ready to roll?
Let's do it. Let's see.
All right, so we're rolling now. And fittingly, it picked the first game, Mega Man 1.
Wow. All right. Okay, so first week in December, we are playing Mega Man on the NES, arguably the best box art for any game.
Yeah. the best box art that confused the most kids, as you know, you look at it and you're like, man, this looks awesome, and then you get it and it's like this little bitty blue guy on the screen.
Kind of, but it's also just like kind of really poorly drawn. Like the proportions and the way he's standing is all weird. Like,
well, it looks like a sci-fi movie where he's a sheriff or something.
Yeah, and he's got like a blue and yellow suit. You're like, yeah, like he's not holding a gun. His whole arm is a gun. It's like It's like if you describe Mega Man to somebody and ask them to draw it, who's never seen Mega Man before. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty legendary box art.
Yes.
But we will definitely enjoy playing the first game. It's probably not going to be an easy one, although if you're playing it on the collection that I let everyone know in the Discord was on sale, that has rewind, so you can use that to your advantage if you're like me and you suck at Mega Man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no Mega Man games are on Nintendo Switch Online, and I don't know if there are any on the NES Classic Edition.
Number 2 is on the Classic Edition.
Number 2. Yeah, so you would need to get some kind of collection. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to be playing
the sale's still going for the collection on Switch. I think it's $10. I gave a few other options. If you want to, the cheapest way I could think of really to play these games, if you don't mind it, is on mobile. You can buy them for $2 a piece, and you only have to buy the ones that we roll the dice on. So essentially, we're looking at $8 if you go that route. Or you can pay $10 and get all 6 on the Switch right now.
Just get the collection. I'm going to be playing it on my GameCube on the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. It's a really cheap GameCube game. If you already own a GameCube, you could probably find it for like less than $10. So it's another $10 collection you can get.
I also threw out some weird plug and play joystick thing that plugs into your TV that has all 6 of them. I think it's like 20 or $30.
So I actually got one of those in the store, a used one that only plays Mega Man 2, and I just sold it like today. Like somebody bought it just today. Like, all right, cool. Somebody wants this thing.
They were like,
I guess.
Yeah, got to hop in there. Then now watch, we won't roll game 2.
No, never. Of course not. Not the one everyone wants to play.
The best one, and we won't roll it.
Right. So next week on the show, we're going to have the legendary Marty Estes on to talk with us all things Mega Man, his history with it, his affinity for it, and why. I mean, honestly, who whatever. And that's going to be really cool. He's such a fun guy to have on. So that's going to be a great show. So make sure that you are subscribed. You can hit that subscribe button or the follow button or whatever it is on your podcast app, so that next week you do not miss Marty Estes. So that's going to about do it for Crossplay. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll do This Week in Gaming History, a little bit of news, and then we will wrap things up. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little musical interlude. So we're going to jump right into This Week in Gaming History. We've got 3 games that we're going to talk about, 2 of which are near and dear to my heart, and one of which is just okay. So But first things first, let's talk about Starcraft Brood War, John, which launched 22 years ago today, November 30th, 1998. This is the expansion to the infamous Starcraft real-time strategy series of games. I mean, Starcraft is legendary at this point. I mean, you know, anything by Blizzard back in the day was just heralded as some of the best PC stuff, you know?
The cinematics that always went along with those games were even really good for the time period. That's what I always look forward to the most in Blizzard games.
Yeah, they just really knew how to tell a story, and the voice acting was on point, and you know, they just kind of nailed a lot of parts that are really difficult to pull off on like a low res, low poly PC game, you know. So Brood War being the expansion to the original StarCraft game, many a LAN party in my youth featuring StarCraft. And I mean, like, I pretty much, okay, so I always played Terran. And I really liked Terran's just mobility and just their ability to just launch their buildings into the air and to just totally move your whole base. I mean, there were games where I'd play and like lift off my command center and just like fly it around the map, and like the other person who obviously won the game like couldn't beat the game because he couldn't find me or whatever. Like that's it's not good sportsmanship. You shouldn't do that. But that was some fun stuff back in the day. And so Brood War added a few campaign levels to each of the three races. And did it add any units? I don't think it added any units, did it?
Yeah, it added a few ground units to each one. The Zerg got the lurkers, the ones that go underground.
Oh, that's right.
And the Terran got the combat medic, I believe. And the Protoss got the Dark Archon.
Crazy.
Which the Protoss were the ones I liked playing with quite a bit. The Zerg were fun, but they were harder to manage because their units didn't hold up as well. They were more based on numbers.
the creep was always hard to like understand, like where the creep was going to go and how far it would go and how to make more of it. Wasn't super clear. But and once everybody kind of knew how to, like, that Zerg rush was a thing, it was really easy to defend against. So there was really not a lot of advantages to Zerg, especially in the late game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's
Protoss late game though is ridiculous.
Yeah, they're pretty powerful. Yeah. You can't let them last that long.
No. I always had trouble with the pylons. Like I'd be like, I'm gonna go build a thing. Oh, pylon. You know? I always had trouble with that.
Gotta have your pylon.
Yeah, you gotta have your pylons. We're gonna, you know what? Did they do remakes of the? Man, I've been out of it for Blizzard stuff in so long. Did they release remakes of StarCraft and Brood War?
I think they did. I think they did a classic, like a StarCraft classic, and I imagine it probably included the expansion in it. It probably didn't have it as two games.
Man, that'd be fun to jump back into. Just
upgraded graphics and, you know, probably slightly. They probably gave it the StarCraft 2 engine. But
rad.
I have not played it, so I can't confirm any of that. But I do know that it's a thing.
I just remember it being
they've updated it.
Sure.
So, I mean, StarCraft 2 has been out for quite a while now.
Oh, yeah. What, 96? 95, maybe?
StarCraft 2?
Oh, StarCraft 2. I thought you were talking about regular old StarCraft. StarCraft 2 was 2008, I want to say.
That's what I'm thinking. It's been out long enough. I think that whenever the re-release of StarCraft was probably just put out on that engine and made it look that way.
Maybe.
Probably not too complicated to do.
Maybe we could have just up-resed it and been done with it, or just
That
whatever.
could be it too.
But I don't know.
Command and Conquer did.
So, yeah. So, man, that just talking about it made me realize how out of it I am with the whole StarCraft thing. I might have to jump into another couple of rounds of Brood War, play the campaign a little bit just to reacquaint myself with all of that, because it's been a while, man.
I bet it's really cheap to get a hold of today too.
I think I still own it on Battle.net. You can just download it if you ever.
I have the discs.
Oh, right on.
I don't know if I have a PC that has a disk drive anymore. That might be a tough one, but
right. So this next game, John, is all you, buddy. You got Harvest Moon 64 written here. 21 years ago today, November 30th, 1999. The next year after Brood War, you said, "Screw Brood War. I'm playing Harvest Moon on my N64."
Yeah. When Harvest Moon 64 came out, I had already played the SNES version and enjoyed that game. It's one of those where I didn't really know much about Harvest Moon. I had a buddy that played it pretty regularly, and so I jumped in and played when I was over at his house once. And then I went, and the N64 one came out, and I told my mom and dad about it, and they were like, "No, we just bought you a game not too long ago." So out comes the piggy bank. I got all my loose change, and I go to Walmart, and I buy Harvest Moon 64 for $40 with change, like pennies and
oh my
dimes
gosh.
and stuff. So yeah, I'll always remember this game because I was like, I gotta have it. So I did that. And man, I can't tell you how many hours I put in this game. I've played it from front to back. I've at least started it probably 5 or 6 times. But in my first couple playthroughs, I played all the way like to year 5 or something like that, and did everything you can. So I played this one a lot, and I still have my original copy. I still have the instruction manual and everything. It's a good one. And
nice. Yeah, I played a little bit of it, and it was pre-Animal Crossing, so I didn't really understand what I was doing or why and how. You know what I mean? I was like, "Where's the game here?" You know, back then, and then Animal Crossing kind of introduced me to the whole like, doesn't have to be a game; it could just be chores, or it could just, you know what I mean? Yeah, it could be a simulator, and that's game in and of itself. And then like kind of went back and played the one on Super Nintendo a little bit, 64 a little bit, and then Stardew Valley and all that. So thank Animal Crossing for knowing anything about Harvest Moon.
Yeah, Stardew Valley is probably the best way to play Harvest Moon today. Like, I know that the guy that created Stardew Valley basically just said he wanted to play Harvest Moon, but make, quick, just minor changes to it, and then ended up turning it into the whole thing we got with the combat.
Whole thing, yeah,
and it's amazing. For as much as I like Harvest Moon and how those games got me into that genre of game, Stardew Valley is also very good, and I still play it every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Totes. All right, and game number three this week is Bomberman 64. 23 years ago today, November 30th, 1997, for the Nintendo 64. Man, Bomberman 64 was one of the go-to multiplayer games for me and my friends. I had almost no previous experience with a Bomberman game before that, and I don't really understand why Bomberman hit me so hard. I would even play the campaign in that game, and I don't know if you know anything about the campaign in Bomberman 64, but it's very obtuse, just super unclear what you're supposed to be doing. The puzzles are really kind of all over the place, and just the camera angles were weird. It was like, why is this a campaign? Just give me regular old Bomberman, you know? But I played it. I loved it. I would play it over and over and over again, you know, and I would get as far as I could, and lose and then start over. And one of the things that was so funny about the multiplayer in this game is that when you died, you would turn into a ghost. And basically what you could do is you could temporarily possess another player and like make them do something stupid. You know what I mean? So like you could like basically make them walk into an explosion and die. And so you still had a lot of sway over the gameplay after you died, which made it so much more fun than like a Smash Brothers or something where once you're out, you know? Much like a Mario Kart battle mode, you know, where like you turn into the little bomb and then you could drive around. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That I think made it just infinitely replayable for us. Because even when you lost, you still felt like you were able to screw with people and do all that.
So this one for me is hilarious because I think whenever I played the Super Nintendo ones, I played 1 and 2, and when the 64 one came out, there was also a game called Bomberman Hero on 64, which is total garbage. And I rented Bomberman Hero, and after I rented that, like I think that I just kept thinking Bomberman 64 was Bomberman Hero, so I never actually played Bomberman 64 or its sequel because Bomberman Hero just kind of ruined it for me. And I wouldn't play another Bomberman game until Super Bomberman R on Switch. So yeah, I missed this one totally.
Dang, man.
Don't go play Bomberman Hero. It's bad.
Yeah, well, I don't know how. I'm going to have to go back and play it. I own it, but it's just like I don't have a group of friends to invite over right now during COVID to see if it holds up multiplayer-wise. But I should pop it in and just kind of mess around with it and see how it holds up. Man, the campaign is just so bad in that game. I don't know why they can't like nail down a Bomberman campaign.
Well, it's kind of weird that it has like an actual campaign because most, like the first 2 Bomberman games on Super Nintendo, the campaign was just you playing through the multiplayer with computers, and you would just have to win so many matches, and it would progress you on to the next area, and then you would get a new map, and then by a new map it would be like a different color. And that's how that's what the campaign was for the original Bombermans. And I believe the Game Boy ones were pretty similar.
Yeah. And the whole thing with the campaign is like it's all puzzle platformy, but like you can't jump, so I don't know what they were thinking. It's just weird.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah. Well, good. That was this week in gaming history. And we are going to jump into just a couple little short, little fun news thingies. The first one being Sega revealing one of its old prototype Nomad handhelds, codenamed Venus. And if you look at a picture of this thing, it looks way better than the Nomad that we came to know and love. It's like this nice, like gold silver looking thing with like really sleek, like cutout for the D-pad. It's not black. It's like a gold silver, and
it looks like they tried to make it look more like a Game Boy, like as far as its aesthetics go, which is a lot nicer than the Nomad.
Kind of, and I mean, it is just so cool looking. Like I want this thing.
Yeah. You know? Too bad the Nomad ate so many batteries. I think it took like 8 AA batteries.
Yeah. And it just ate them.
You literally had to have the power cord, the AC adapter. Actually, at that point, it'd probably be a DC adapter. You had to have that to play a game. And
now, what was cool about the Nomad is that you could plug it into a TV, project it.
Yeah,
on the TV.
But
that
again,
was a cool feature.
You'd want the DC adapter. You're not going to play on your TV for very long.
I think. I don't know if you.
I was going to say, I had a buddy that had one, and the only Sega Genesis game I think he had was Risk, which is like the absolute worst game for Nomad because he didn't have the adapter. So you literally get like 4 or 5 turns into Risk, and then it would restart your game because you ran out of batteries.
horrible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Just get Sonic 2. Sonic's the best game to play on that thing anyway.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a really neat idea for the time that you could play Genesis games handheld. I mean, it just thing was massive and you
it was too
couldn't play
late
for very long. Yeah, too late too.
Yeah. And then the next thing on our fun little news tangent here is the very tragic story of mom throwing away into the trash like 500 video games valuing at over $500,000. This poor guy just losing his whole video game collection he left in storage at his parents' house. Who does that? Who goes into their kid's old room and says, they're not going to want any of these old electronics, and just like literally puts them in the trash can? Like sealed. There were some sealed PlayStation 1 games in that lot, and they're just good. They're trashed now. They're gone.
Yeah, but you're best not to leave your old game collection at your parents' house.
I will say, when I left my parents' house, I didn't take much with me, but I took my 2 tote bins full of video games.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know what else I will need. Like, I'll leave a lot of things there, but I definitely need my video games. They're going with me. I gotta have something to do.
I left my Star Wars action figures there. Later, I went back for them, but I left those there, and I said, no, I'm taking the video games. I don't trust y'all.
Yeah, don't leave anything of value at your parents' house, because they don't know it's of value, and they just look at it as trash. Then they'll get rid of it.
That's crazy, man. I wish he like posted a whole list of what he had in there, because I bet it's a crazy amount. He had like tons of systems, all different games, crazy stuff. I would feel so defeated. I would just be like,
oh yeah,
what the heck? This guy should start a GoFundMe or something, because I would totally give him a little bit of money. I totally would. I'd be like, that's terrible. Here's a little bit of money, but please.
Here's a copy of Mario on the NES. Enjoy.
Yeah, right. Like, I'll donate a game to your collection.
Your new collection of one game.
Yeah, that'd be even sadder. Just like, no, horrible.
Yep. Moral of the story: don't leave your stuff there at your parents' house.
Don't do it. Do not do it.
Be an adult. Take your own things.
Well, John, that's about going to wrap it up. We did our community. Oh, no, wait. Didn't we have one question?
I think we did have a
from
question.
Our Discord. I missed it. Let me go back and see what that question was.
I think there was a Megaman question.
Did you post that in the lobby?
I think it.
There we go. Third strongest mole in the lobby. He says, we all know there's some stiff competition for the best Mega Man game. But what about the worst Mega Man game? Is it Mega Man X6 or X7? Mega Man for DOS? What is the worst Mega Man game you've played? Well, I know both John and I's experience with Mega Man is limited. My response to him in Discord was, does Mighty Number 9 count as a Mega Man game?
I still have my copy sealed. I haven't even played that game.
Yeah, it's better to keep it sealed.
I'm just going to keep it
far
sealed.
away.
Yeah, keep it locked up and don't play it.
You know what? Leave that one at your mom's house. Maybe she'll throw it away for you.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. Man, have you seen the DOS versions of these games? They've got to be the worst by far.
Really?
Yeah, if you haven't looked them up, it's definitely worth a good laugh to check them out.
I'll have to do that at some point.
Mega Man, as simple as it is, like the early Mega Man games, they still don't, like, DOS is not good enough. It looks so bad. And I'm sure I haven't played them on DOS, but I'm sure they were horrendous.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's got to be the worst. I can't think of a worse one. I mean, if Mighty Number 9 doesn't count.
I'm trying to think of like, okay, the worst Mega Man game I've ever played, probably Mega Man 7. It just feels like such a weird departure from like what I know Mega Man to be from the X and the original games. You know, it's like,
on Super Nintendo?
yeah. Wasn't it like super weird? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think it was one of those. I think it was kind of a rushed effort, wasn't it?
Maybe, but it just felt like those sprites were all gigantic and like it was like I don't remember
didn't
why.
have the normal Mega Man.
Yeah. Luckily, I never played any of the later Mega Man X games that Sam was talking about. So Sam is third strongest mole, by the way. I never played any of the later X games, so those games aren't like tainted for me or whatever. They're on the X collection on Switch, so if you want to delve into some of the weirdest bad Mega Man in the world, be my guest. Mega Man X6 and X7.
I have the ZX. I think I have both the collections. I have the X collection and ZX and the first collection as well. Something I wish, ones that I wanted to play and never, because I never had a PlayStation, I wanted to play the RPG ones, the Mega Man Legends. And there was
Mega Man 64.
And Tron Bon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play any of those. Man, does
Mega
Mega
Man
Man
Soccer.
64 count? Is that an RPG,
Yeah.
Mega Man?
I think Mega Man 64 is Mega Man Legends. Now I'm going to look it up.
Well, if that's the case, I need to buy a copy of that and play it because I didn't know that it was the same.
Well, Mega Man 64 is very expensive. Mega Man Legends, known as Rockman Dash.
Of course it is.
Okay, yeah, it's the same.
So
Mega Man
which is
64
cheaper?
is Mega Man Legends. Oh boy. Okay, now we're going to get into it. Here we go. You're going to guess. Okay. Mega Man Legends for the PS1 complete or Mega Man 64.
I'm going to say Mega Man for the PS1. Mega Man Legends completes probably what's $40 game.
Do you want me to tell you or do you want to guess?
Well, I'm going to guess $40 for that, and since you specifically called out Mega Man 64, I'll say that one's a $100 bill.
Okay, so Mega Man Legends for PS1 complete is $35. So you were pretty right on there.
Close.
And the loose cartridge for Mega Man 64 is not as expensive as I thought it was. It's only $38. So they're right around the same price.
See, this is kind of like the game of Up and Down we played where you mislead me to think that. No, yeah, because I didn't even know Mega Man 64 existed, really. So you got me on that one. But so, okay, so $38 and I can play Mega Man Legends on the 64. Does it play as good? Like, have you played it?
Man, I don't know. That is not my jam.
I'm going to have to hit up Sam, the Mega Man, or the Muffin Man, whichever one you want to call him.
Yep.
See if he's played that one. Or Marty.
Yep. Do it. Or just ask the Discord. Somebody in the Discord's played it.
Yeah, someone somewhere.
So,
I think I just need to get a PS1.
Oh, yeah. I mean, PS1 games are pretty cheap, so you should just pick one up in a bunch of games. There's lots going up all the time. So, remember that our crossplay community game this week for the month of December, we're doing all Mega Man games. This week, we're doing the first Mega Man game for the original Nintendo. There are a plethora of ways to play it, but the collection is now on sale for the Nintendo Switch for $10. Don't feel obligated to spend money to be part of the community. You can always just jump in and have fun with us and see what's going on. If you want to come hang out with us in Discord, hit me up on Twitter at BlockfortRetro and go to my profile where there is a link in my bio to join the Discord. You can chat with us and 20 plus other retro heads who just love talking about retro games. It's a pretty active little community, isn't it, John? There's a lot. There's not a ton of people there, but we chat it up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And we're friendly.
Something interesting.
Yeah, and there's new members coming in all the time, so you're not going to feel singled out. It's a really great, friendly, non-toxic place to hang out, talk about collecting video games. As I said, you can also follow me on Twitter at BlockFortRetro. RetroLogic is the official podcast of Blockfort Retro, and if you like what you hear, there are many ways to get in touch with us, including Twitter and Discord, which I just talked about. We're also on YouTube and Twitch doing streams of old games and stuff like that. I do giveaways on Twitter. I make 4K wallpapers for your phone and your desktop. They're like retro vaporwave inspired, and you can get those for free just by joining the Discord. Yeah. All kinds of fun stuff going on. I'm also going to be giving away some holographic stickers with the show's logo on them in the next couple weeks. Once I get those in, I'll be giving them away. So, that's our show. John, anything else?
That's all I can think of. I think we've had a full show here.
Yeah, that's it. So we will see you guys next week-o.
Go play some Megaman.
Don't die too much.
Yeah. Rewind.
Yeah.